Okay, let's begin by drawing an oval on our paper. If yours is too fat, erase the bottom and make it a little longer. If yours is too long, erase the bottom and make it a little shorter. That's why we're using that light line. Then we're going to find halfway down on your face, and you can make some of those dotted lines to help you, but be sure you make them very light. On our face, we have room for 5 eyes. I know we only have 2, but we have room for 5. So if I kind of divide that off, I'd say 1 eye, 2 eye, 3 eye, 4 eye, and part of 5. I didn't get it quite right. So there's room for 5. There's only 2. So you just need these 2 spaces. That's how you know it's in right proportion. And then inside that eye space is a football. Football is how your eye, that's the way I think of it, how it's shaped. That's the edge of the skin on both of your eyes. And I'm going to probably draw a little quickly, but I think that your teacher can stop and start again, or you can look at the whole way I've drawn it and then see the guides that I've left with your teacher to get an idea of where things go. So don't worry if you think, oh my goodness, she's going way too fast, I can't keep up. You're using these ideas as a guide and you will draw on your own. Then there's a U shape, and you might want to make the whole thing like a big circle. Let me poke my head in and say, my eye is like a football. Part of the brown part is underneath the eyelid. If I show the whole circle, that's what you're going to look like. We don't really want that. So just make that part like this, like a big U. That's the colored part, the iris. Then the part that barely touches the top of your eye is a circle. That's the pupil. That's the part where you can see. And you can leave a little bit of white and fill that in with your pencil. That little piece of white is like a sparkle. And if you have a mirror, or later you might want to look in your eye, that's the reflection. And you might be able to see that little reflection in my eye. So we've got 2 eyes. Then we want a nose. The nose, of course, fits between the 2 eyes. And you can do one of 2 things. You can make nostril, middle, nostril. So up here is where, of course, you never put your finger, but that's the holes. And then this is the sides. You can just do that, or you can draw a line that goes like this up to where your eyebrows would be. Looks like a big bald-headed person, doesn't it? That's because we haven't put the hair on yet. But believe me, that's what you need to have room for the hair. Then straight down from the middles of your eyes, and I'm going to put those dotted lines again. You can or you don't have to, but make sure you make them light. That's how wide your mouth is. So there's the inside line where you open up your mouth. Look about right? Okay. Now we have right down from the middle of your nose, there's a little bump. If you have a mirror, you can look at that. Look at it later if you don't. That's your top lip. And then your bottom lip. Now, a lot of people have a problem here. They make a little teeny skinny neck. It looks like a cartoon person, like your head would snap off. So instead, we're going to go down from the corners of our eyes right to there. And then that's how wide your neck is. And then out to the edges of your paper. On top of your shoulders, you would actually have room for another head on each side. But we're probably not going to have room for that on our paper. Instead, you can just put in whatever kind of neck you want on your shirt. Like a t-shirt would just be a curvy shape. Oh, we're missing ears. And here's where the ears fit. They fit between the corner of your eye and the bottom of your nose. So if I do a little dotted line there. And then it's just the edge of your ear. You can't see the whole thing, just the edge of your ear. And if I had the whole ear, it would look like my ear was pulled out like this. So we don't want that. There's the other ear. Now the hair. Even boys have hair on the top of their head and hair that meets down at their forehead. So let's say this is a boy and he has some of his forehead, and this is where his hair begins to touch his forehead. So he's got a little hair coming both ways. And then we would call this part that comes down next to your ears, comes right down next to your ears. Even if it's short, almost shaved, it still comes down like that, like sideburns. You could see a little bit of hair. Now, if you're a boy, you might just color all that in. Or you might say, well, I have a little bit that sticks up right here. And if you have a girl, if you are a girl and you wanted to put your hair in, you would do the same thing. You would draw where the hair joins onto the head, and then you would do the top. So here's the lines I'm drawing. I'm drawing a line here where my hair looks like it's touching my forehead, and I'm drawing another line here over the top where my hair is over the top of my head, or anybody's head. Let's make this into a girl. Let's say, well, I decided it was a girl. I'm going to add a little bit of extra poof here, like if you had a little bit of hair puffed up. And then well, let's put some ponytail holders right here. And then if you had ponytails coming down on the sides, maybe you just have one. Maybe you have two. So you can decide how you want to do your hair. That's extra. If you want to put in a little line here for the fold of your eye, you can do that. If you want to add in some eyelashes, now we know we all have eyelashes, but even in the cartoons, a lot of times the boy characters don't have eyelashes, but the girls do. So that might make a difference to how you want to draw your face. Now, if you've drawn your face and you look at it and you go, wow, the bottom of my face looks kind of fat. If you drew lightly, then you will be able to come in and make that a little bit narrower. And your neck would still be in the same place. So now, don't I wish that I'd used a pencil so that I could erase all the lines that I don't want in my picture. I don't like my hair that way. I didn't want it to be that way. If you draw lightly with your pencil, you can always change that. But if you don't, you're kind of stuck with what you've got. So make sure that you draw lightly. In the picture that's finished in your classroom, you might see that I've traced with a black crayon everywhere. You could use a crayon or a marker. I've used a very thin, peachy, kind of a light orange color with a lot of water to paint over the face. And you can do that, or a tan or a brown, but test it on the paper edge first, or a different piece, so you don't end up with a big colored face that you can't get rid of. Always test somewhere else first. Or you can color it with crayons, and then I just colored the rest with crayons. I cut around the edge, and I glued it onto a beautiful piece of paper so it looks like the person is maybe outside or standing in front of a wall. So I hope that will give you a good start. And then if you do have any questions, Miss Becky has my phone number, and we can either Skype or talk on the phone, and I can give you any answers to questions that you have. So I wish you the very, very best in your art making, and I pray that your portrait will please you. If it doesn't please you, it will please your parents. That I guarantee. God bless you and keep you, and happy art making. Bye.